Welcome to The Fix. Sit down with copywriting experts Nick O'Connor and Glenn Fisher as they review, discuss, and improve real-world copy sent in by you. This is The Fix. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Fix. You can see I am not joined by my good partner, my lover. Let's just be honest about it. He is my lover. Don't tell our partners, our official partners. Nick O'Connor is not here. He's still alive. Don't worry. Well, I assume he is. I spoke to him about 10 minutes ago, but something terrible could have happened. If it has happened, this is going to go down in history as one of the worst intros ever. But instead, I am joined. You will be glad to see, if you are listening, you will soon hear his voice. By a very nice copywriter called Martin Sayers. Martin, hello.
Morning, Glenn. How are you doing, sir?
I am good. We have established that you are in Cambridge.
Yeah.
You are a copywriter, and for that we will just leave. We will say no more about you. We're going to dig into your life and times, like Michael Aspel would. Here's Michael Aspel.
Showing your age there.
Yeah. Anyway, we will do that in the second part of the show. What we're going to do, first of all, straight away, is dive into a piece of copy. So I'm going to get that copy up on the screen, and I will read it aloud for those listening. There we go. So this is a piece of email copy, just to give you a little bit of background. It is written on spec. So it's someone who's trying to get into the financial copywriting industry, and they have put together this email, which is to encourage people to go to sales promotion. I will read it out and then we will talk about it. The subject line is warning, you might run out of your savings for retirement. Dear reader, I'm going to add, because you should have one. We believe you might run out of your savings just to survive your retirement days. Experts are saying that in a couple of years, your retirement days can go up more than 30 years or even more. That leads to a fatal question. How much will you need in the bank to survive in your retirement days? $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, $5 million. The truth is, with an annual retirement income of just $50,000, you'll need over 1 million in your savings to survive your retirement days. And that's just so you don't run out of money. But the average retirement account savings is around $65,000. That's less than 10% of what you need. Like I said, most folks are screwed. And frankly, if you ask me, it's unfair. So to help you fight this retirement killer, Matt Milner, our co-founder, is inviting you to join our new elite investment strategy. But these invites are extremely limited today. Only 250 can join. If you miss out for good. Click here or on the image below to watch it now. And then there's an image of a video. Regards, Sam Lather, editor-in-chief, Crowdability. So that is the email. Martin, I will not ask you to immediately go in and try and dissect that. I'm going to say a couple of things on this. We are writing for spec. So you are looking to impress people and get their attention. You're looking to probably go into a head of copy or a publisher. So the first thing I would say is, and we've spoke about this before on this show, but at the what people are looking for when they're looking for whether you are a good copywriter, it's not so much the writing at this stage. I mean, that they obviously are, but what they're really looking for is ideas. And the first thing that strikes me about this piece of copy is that it's a lot of copy, and it's a lot of kind of there's no easy way to say it, but it's kind of like cliched, expected things. If we're talking about retirement and whether you've got enough money to retire for, which is a real problem and a good thing to riff on, but this is just saying, here's the problem, you haven't got enough money and we'll show you how to do it. It's a very simple, straightforward kind of run-of-the-mill approach, and it doesn't really show me anything new. So I'd be thinking about, how can I pitch different ideas? How can I go into exploit this area in a different way? That's my first initial thing. I read this and I just think it's a bit of what I call invisible copy. It's kind of expected. It's what I'll see. There's also a couple of situations, and it might be a language thing, which I accept, but if you're looking for spec, you need to be checking your own thing here, and where your challenges are, is you keep saying retirement days over and over and over again, and stuff like that. I'll maybe let Martin speak on this, because I was just reading something that he wrote about speaking to a friend, how you write how you speak. It's a classic piece of advice. But if you read this aloud, you can hear when I'm saying retirement days over and over again. I wouldn't speak like that. I wouldn't repeat that word over and over again. So just be careful on repetition. They were the two big things that stood out to me. Number one, that it's a bit run-of-the-mill. It's a bit kind of an obvious line. Some of it's okay, and the rhythm's not too bad. But then that repetition throughout is repeating the wrong thing. It's repeating kind of things that you don't need to repeat, rather than emphasizing stuff. But I'll let Martin, you've digested that. What are your initial thoughts on this? What reaction do you have?
You know what? My first reaction is it needs a decent hook, doesn't it?
Yes.
It needs something which, you're kind of tapping into fear here. I get what the copywriter's trying to do, but you need something more specific. I don't know, something like, did you know 67% of people run out of money within 10 years of retiring? I mean, that's not true. I made that up, but there'll be loads of stats like that out there, won't they?
Yep.
And anyone who is thinking about retirement sees that, bang, they're in, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the main thing.
I think you're right. I think that hook getting you in there, it's that we believe you might, as you say, it's going for fear. Fear is fine. Fear and greed, the two of the most effective, like it or not, emotions to tap into. However, there's a difference between eliciting fear in someone. I watched a film last night, Annihilation. It's a bit of a weird sci-fi thing. I've been on this writer called Jeff Vandermeer, and he wrote the book, but then the adaptation there. And it's kind of, the fear is in the unknown, and you're not quite certain. So I'm made to feel that by showing me that stuff, rather than just saying, you should be afraid.
Exactly.
Saying, you should be afraid. And you go, well, I don't want to be, so go away. Whereas if you start, as you say, if you've got that hook and there's something where it's like, did you realize that you might think you're set, you might think you're safe, but 60, let's say 80% of people will find themselves in trouble when it comes to retirement. You're slightly more engaged, and you're doing the maths in your own head. I think that's
exactly. Yeah, you're suddenly thinking, oh, is that me? And I'd say to anyone listening, watching this, back that up. Like, first of all, don't make it up. But secondly, say where you got that source from. And if that's an authority source, all the better. Like the Financial Times, for instance, brilliant. Get that in there. Because, they read the hook and they think, was that me? Then they read that verification, and then, damn, they can read the whole thing then.
Exactly. We've been on a bit of a research tip recently. Me and Nick have been working on some stuff together, and we realized how, I mean, we've realized this in our own career, and I'm sure you've probably had the same mind, but doing that research, once you know that, like, once you've got enough information, the copy bit is easy, because once you've found that little nugget of information that no one else has maybe found, you have to find what's that strange thing. Like your gut feeling there was to go for, is there an amount of people who aren't thinking? That's, you kind of go actively searching for that piece of information. Once you've got that, then you can write about that. That's easy. We can riff on that. We can talk about that. What this feels to me is that it's probably taking the general idea of which is a valid idea, and there's plenty of email copy you could write around the idea that people aren't going to have enough money for retirement. I've literally just done a promotion myself for a company all about that theme, and wrote a number of different adverts and email notes like this about different ways of getting into the retirement problem. One of the ways, ironically, as you suggested, Martin, was straight away going to the BBC says, is this the end of retirement kind of thing? And finding an article and going down that route. But I think you've got to go a bit further into the idea here. This is top level stuff. And again, if you're writing on spec and you're trying to impress people and get their attention, it's not so much the writing. And here visually, it looks okay. I've put this into Curry and You. I always do this as a thing, but you can see the space. There's plenty of white space. There's the short clip sentences. It's not too far away from the actual style that you'd want to be going for.
No, I mean, it's nicely structured, certainly.
Yeah, it's just that it's just lacking that kind of depth of kind of being able to show that you know something the reader doesn't.
Exactly, and yeah, exactly, and that is it. You see something. I mean, anyone could look at this and think, I already know that. So you need to change that round and have something that they don't already know, but is on the same theme. The theme's good. It's just it needs more specificity, I suppose.
You've said the magic word I can never say. Specificity.
I'm not sure I said it right. You know what I mean?
No, okay. We have the 4 U's with me and Nick kind of lean on, and one of them is ultra specific. So I say specificity all the time. I just can't say it. It's very annoying in life. But yeah, no, it's you've hit the nail on the head there. There's the actual what's the specifics of this. I think it's not too far away. You just need to go and dig there and ask. I'd use an old favorite of mine, but just the question why would people worry about this? Why haven't they got enough money? Why might they run out? If you just ask that, get one step further, I think, to being like something interesting in there.
Definitely.
I'd also say just on that fear angle, because this was something it felt, and I'm going to say this is something I'm going to type on so people won't be able to see it, hear it if they can hear me typing. But that dear reader at the beginning, I always write dear reader or fellow copywriter or whoever I'm writing to. And the reason I do that is because it reminds you that you're speaking to someone, you're speaking to a specific person, and this is a message not just to the internet, which you can often fall in a trap of thinking, right, I'm just writing copy to the world. You are always writing to someone specific. And the reason I say that is because when I read through this, it kind of suddenly changed to like be quite aggressive and fear driven and kind of like you're in trouble. And I believe that, and it felt quite impersonal to me. And I think that's probably because the writer is not thinking in terms of a conversation that they're having with the person at the other end of this email. And that, for me, the clues that give that away is when you don't say dear reader. It seems like a small thing, but it just shows to me that you're not really thinking about the reader. You're just writing copy. And I think you've always got to be in that conversation in your head. Do you have the same experience, Martin?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got to have that person in your mind's eye, sitting across from you. And just these simple tricks like dear reader, which I always use, or, if it's sector specific, so for golf, for example, I'll say dear fellow golfer, stuff like that. That just narrows it down for you. So you are speaking to one person. And it may sound simple, but anyone who's watching this, please do use it, because it may even look a bit odd sitting there, but it really does work, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's the simple things. I mean, I get bored of myself saying it, but the simple things. That's what unlocks it all, kind of thing.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
Kind of watch your pennies, the pounds look after themselves, or something like that. The ghost of my nana is now floating above me saying these things, but it is really about taking the simple ideas and they just help you steer you in the right direction. I've got no doubt that this writer can get to a place where they're going to have a good piece of lift copy here, but I think for me, the two things here are to not just to try and write copy. As I said from the beginning, when you're looking for spec, it's about ideas. You need to be showing weird ways of getting into it. Anyone can go away and write this piece of email copy. Well, any copywriter could go and do that. A publisher, a head of copy, isn't looking for that. They're looking for someone who can give you ideas and go, actually, what if we went in this way? What if we did this? What if we did this weird thing that I wasn't thinking about? So always look for the ideas. Do you research a little bit more, find out what is the weird thing, what is no one saying. At the moment, you search the word retirement, and I'd probably guess that every top news headline is going to say that we haven't got enough money for retirement. So what is the weird detail about that that you can turn on its head and show to the person that you're pitching that you're thinking about it differently? And then remember, you're not writing copy, you're writing conversations, you're writing messages to another human being who have the same worries as you. If you're not sure who you're speaking to, I always kind of think, well, speak to yourself. Like, would you be interested? Would you be fearful of this? Are you worried about this? This writer is a younger writer, so they're probably not thinking too much about retirement and preparing for it. But maybe that's an angle. Maybe that's a weird takeaway.
Yeah, that's a good point. You might not have thought about this yet, but you need to, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
You can spin this any way you want, because it is going to, everyone's going to face this predicament at some point, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's, for me, there are the three things for this writer to go away and think about when it comes to pitching thing. Dig a little bit deeper in your research, find the weird ideas. Remember you're speaking to one person, and try and find the one thing that no one else is saying about the subject. That's what will get people's attention, especially if you're in at the kind of spec stage of your pitching to people. You don't have to. It's not going out. It's not like a business thing where it's like, quick, we need some email copy to send out today, and you're rushing to get it. You can take your time, do the weird things, because they're not going out anywhere. So you can kind of show your skill a little bit more rather than just recreating what people are seeing.
Exactly. And like, if you're going to send it off and you feel a bit scared because it's not what you normally see, then in a way that's a good thing, because if it's generic, it's not going to impress anyone, is it? It doesn't, as you say, it doesn't matter how good the copy is, doesn't matter how good the language is. If you're just saying the same thing as everyone else, then it's not going to hit the mark in this instance, is it?
Exactly. And it's a very, very good point. Very good point. Martin, we'll leave that there for now. We've covered a few things there, so I hope people found that useful. But while I've got you, Martin, I am going to quiz you further about you and yourself. I will wrap up now for members of the Fix. If you want to see the extended version, you are very welcome to join the Fix Accelerator. There'll be details at the end of this, but you can just go to the fixaccelerator.co.uk or .com, maybe. There'll be links around somewhere. But for now, for members of the Fix, I will see you again soon. We'll be back with another episode shortly. If you enjoy the Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information.